It's been called the time when Los Angeles burned. In 1992, thousands of people in the city rioted over a 6-day period. Demetrius tells us what sparked the outrage.
Tomorrow marks the 25th anniversary of the LA riots. And the reason people were so angry, racial injustice and police brutality, are both two big issues still burning today. For several days, a stunned nation watched violence fill the streets of Los Angeles. More than 50 people killed, 2,300 injured, and $1 billion worth of damage. The deadly violence began with an incident a year earlier. LA police officers were videotaped as they kicked and repeatedly hit a driver, Rodney King, after he was pulled over following a high-speed chase. As a young Black American, what does the name Rodney King mean to you?
More so than anything, it means like the way that police and authorities see Black people, right? It's stopping a car of 4 Black people for no reason, dragging people out of a car, and then beating a Black man almost to death.
On April 29, 1992, a jury found the 4 officers, 3 white and 1 Hispanic, not guilty.
Not guilty of the crime of assault.
Within an hour of the verdict, South Central Los Angeles exploded. Thousands of furious LA residents, mostly Black, took to the streets. They broke into businesses and set buildings and shopping centers on fire.
Well, I was working that day, and the city was glowing from the fires. As I'm seeing my city burn, I feel very responsible because of, what all the angst is about the Los Angeles Police Department.
And at the worst of the rioting, Rodney King made this plea.
Can we all get along? Can we get along?
Rodney King became a household name, a symbol of police brutality and injustice in a country that's been dealing with racial division for hundreds of years. The riots in 1992 prompted the LA Police Department and law enforcement agencies across the country to change their policies about appropriate force and improve their relationships with minority communities. Now, the use of non-lethal tools by police, like pepper spray and stun guns, is encouraged. And video cameras in police cruisers are common to record encounters.
We're majority minority right now. We're almost 50% Hispanic, 20% women. In the 92 riots, we were majority male white.
And the LAPD says its approach has changed.
What I tell everybody is I want 2 things from you. Make the city safer and build public trust. You do those 2 things, everything else will take care of itself. There's no other outcomes that I want besides those 2.
But many African Americans will tell you King's case was not unique back in 1992 or today. It just happened to be caught on camera, something all too common now when the tensions between law enforcement and Black communities across the country are still high.
It would be unfair to say that nothing has changed. But when you take a look at a very macro sense, nothing's really changed, right? There's still institutional racism. Blacks are still being stopped by the cops, arrested by the police, at rates much higher than their white counterparts.
We want justice!
Images from the last few years seem eerily familiar to Los Angeles in 1992. Ferguson, Missouri protests and riots after a white police officer was not charged in the killing of Michael Brown. Then Baltimore, Maryland. Case after case of unarmed African Americans being killed or injured by police, caught on tape.
Hands up, don't shoot, hands up!
And now an entire movement dedicated to getting people to pay attention to police violence against African Americans. A reminder, Black Lives Matter. With the whole Black Lives Matter movement, the goal of that movement is to say, hey, let's take a look at this issue, let's try to solve this issue. But in reality, do you think that we can solve that issue? Is that something, police brutality, is that something that we'll ever be able to stop?
On a ground level, I'm still afraid of the cops as I was 10 years ago, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
I believe that we will win.
Demetrius Pipkin, Channel 1 News.